Make a motion to call the meeting to order.
A second.
Approved. Yay. 6:31 p.m. Tee off time.
6:31.
Cool.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the approval of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
Second.
Yeah. One second. I wasn't here, so let me.
Hold on, where you want me to go then?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I was just double checking something. Yeah. All good. Thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you guys so much. Next, we have our monthly managers report. You guys should have received this the other day.
Yep.
And it's just a breakdown of where we're at. We're probably going to go over most of this with Mark's treasurer's report and some other things. We're going to go ahead and skip that, even though homeowners aren't present. We'll talk about it in executive. Some operational items that we updated. Broadcast emails were sent, obviously. Community updates, any surveys that were needed, or newsletters. Water bills are being monitored as usual. These are kind of, things that we always have in there, guys, because we keep doing it. Architectural mod request for Unit 62. And then we also took care of some preventive maintenance items, and they're still ongoing. Quick update with that from me, guys. Tony has the new heater for the bathroom. He was there today taking some measurements on the door. He'll have that quote to us very shortly. He's going to do, like we discussed, all steel frame and the door. He doesn't see it, from what he told me, being over like $1,500. And that's going to include, I think, the lock set and everything and the digital keypad. So keep that in mind till that quote comes in. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Is that the water heater for the pool?
No, this is
No,
going to
it's
be
for
a
the
heater
bathroom.
for the bathroom.
Okay.
Just make sure we
Okay.
don't have any pipes freeze on the inside and stuff. Plus, just a little background knowledge. The keypad for the entry to the bathroom has been finicky.
Okay.
It's a mechanical one. It's probably got some date on it, and so we're gonna replace that. And when we went to replace it and see why the door was jamming up, it was because it's a metal frame on the outside and wood on the inside. So it's been absorbing moisture over in that area, and we're getting that rectified. Mark and everybody is involved in that, and I think I added you the other day to the email chain from my end, but I've been using the Vine _ for you guys, so you should be getting those.
Gotcha. So it's basically just hot water for the bathroom is what this is.
It's actually just air. It's a heater,
air.
actually.
Okay.
So when it drops below freezing, none of the pipes get too cold or anything.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
I guess the upcoming meeting is the quarterly meeting on tonight. And obviously this was made prior to this. And then we have another annual meeting next year on the 21st or thereabouts. Any questions on the management report, guys?
Not here.
Okay. And then I guess we move right now into the financials. Mark?
No, we're going to do old business first.
Old business first?
Yeah. So the first is ratifying board decisions that we've made.
Sorry,
between the
we've
meetings.
had a bunch of those. Pardon me.
Any questions? Anybody make a motion?
Make a motion to ratify all of our board decisions.
Second.
Second. Yeah, second. I got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, then the second thing on
Aye.
old business is the front door and garage maintenance. We've been talking about for quite a bit. That we're addressing through the Together in Maintenance initiative. So we've sent out several informational pieces regarding that, but really it's involves us, and we did a bigger presentation last time, but involves an owner self checklist that they're being given the fall to kind of go through and make changes. And then in January, we'll go through and clean up anything that's not been addressed by the owners proactively. So that is in the process of moving forward. Questions?
Nope. So it's part of the stuff we talked about at the one big meeting, right? The annual meeting. So yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it there as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, another thing is, Mark, what was the average price on replacing the front doors, stained, installed, the whole 9 yards?
To replace it or to?
Yeah, no, to
I don't know what it
replace it
comes to replace. I
actually.
mean, I think we've seen two people that spent time to replace theirs, and they've ranged from about 7,500 to 9,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I found a vendor that can do them for about 5,500 installed.
Okay.
I'm digging into it a little bit better. I just wanted to bring that up. I stumbled across it the other day and I just thought about it and I shot him a picture of the door and I'm waiting for the official quote, but we may have something that we can
Yeah.
give people
That'd
a
be
discount
awesome.
on.
That'd be awesome, Smokey. Thanks.
No problem.
Those that
Anything
can
else?
be refinished, they should be able to get a side done if there's no damage for around $500 too. So,
The refurbishment you said?
yeah.
Okay.
Did you end up liking the guy you got, Mark? I know you had
I
to.
did. Yeah, I do like them. So, and yeah.
Are they interested in doing a deal with the whole community maybe?
So I put their name on our vendor list. So I submitted that as part of that, which is on the website. They're very busy, but I mean, you can certainly contact them and see. I just, takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get an appointment with them.
And that's fine. And I mean, if we're going to do an initiative though, it would be a little ways down the way and maybe we can set it up for like a bulk deal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's nice to say it's just organizing all of that. And the bottom line is people should be working on getting that taken care of right now.
Fair enough.
I mean, when Mark and I walked around, we were doing the buildings, there's quite a few that are just not in the same family as the rest of the community, like not even close as far as the colors.
Sure. And I have actually, that's what I sent him is some of the pictures that I have from the community on that same subject. So I sent him those and I asked him, I said, refurb or replace. And I got into replace because of what we just went through. What unit was that?
38.
I think so. Like with the realtor submitting and us banging back and forth. So anyway, we'll move forward with that. It'll just be a thought in our heads. So all decisions are ratified. New business, proposed fine schedule.
So I guess I didn't put this in for the packets though. Forgive me, let me find it.
I'll stop sharing if you want to throw yours up, Mark.
Okay. And this is just based on decisions we've made, codifying those of what those should look like going forward, just to be consistent. In that piece.
Did Mark drop or does that mean?
No,
I think he's just waiting to look
No,
for it.
no,
Okay.
he's
I'm looking
digging
for the
something
document.
real
I'm
quick.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I just making sure it wasn't me. That's all. You're good, Mark.
I'm just looking at Smokey's amazing view from his penthouse apartment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the second time in 2 meetings that I've gotten that comment. Lily, would you please let management know that our digital background is a little overzealous because they don't want to see my back wall and my half-done Betty Boop painting that I'm doing for my mom.
We can't see that. I would rather see the Betty Boop painting. That sounds way fun. Way more fun.
So what's showing for right now for y'all? Is the fine schedule showing?
Fine schedule, yes, sir.
Okay, good. So basically it's pretty simple, nothing too extravagant, but basically it's kind of what we've put in place over the last year. So basically looking at, if we're going to have a fine for just not putting in an ARC request to do, especially, I mean, it's not like if they paint, but it's if they, if they go about and change out a door, or they do something pretty major that changes the look of it, having the option of just fining them for doing that without getting approval ahead of time, which doesn't have to be on here. Then
Is
the
this
other
grandfathered in, Mark? Like, so anything at the point of
Yeah, I
launching
mean, we
this?
wouldn't go back and do it. It wouldn't be. I mean, I don't think we want to get crazy on this anyway, but it's like we've had a couple of incidents where owners have done some things and then it's taken us a year to get it rectified. And so is there some way to kind of say, hey, if you're going to do that, that's fine, but you're going to get fined up front or, out the door for doing it because, then they're like, well, it's going to take me a while to get it fixed, But again, that's not a necessity. It's just that's up for discussion. Any of this is up for discussion. And then for safety and structural issues on the ARC, after the cure period, basically it would be a daily fine of $25. And then for aesthetic violations, it's a $5 a day fine. So, we've given them, and we're pretty lenient on our cure periods anyway, but it's kind of like at a certain point, people either have to move forward or not. And then the other ones is just parking violations. So the other violations, parking violations, those don't come into impact until they've had since they've had 5 violations in a 30-day period, and we've sent them a final warning letter. And then the others would just be a general violation, any number of violations at $25 if we needed to have a fine. So
I mean,
up
that
for
5 is
discussion.
pretty, I mean, I know we talked about that, but I mean, it still goes, that's a pretty excessive amount of times, right? I mean, that's 15% of the month you have to be in violation before you even get in trouble. Though I do know you can get towed, right? So towing.
Yeah, I mean, that's regardless. Though at this point, no one's been towed with our new towing company.
And is that I thought I saw there was a whole bunch of
No, one got
violations.
towed-
Is that just
one got
because they
towed
got
the other
lucky
day.
and or what?
I mean, it's just they come at sporadic points, and if they haven't found anybody in violation, they've been here, and they have been coming. So
Say, Mark, they towed somebody at 9:57 last night. So
okay, well there you go.
Yep.
I guess they're towing now. That was the first one that I'm aware of.
That's correct. You should. I got an
And-
email. I'm not sure if everyone else did, but I did.
Oh, you got an email?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
From towing or from the resident?
From the towing company.
So, I mean, a couple of things, we can just, sit on this for a while, nothing that we have to adopt. We can look at modifying it. We can look at adopting it. It's just being presented for consideration.
I mean, I'm fine with having some sort. I mean, we have to have some sort of factor to make things happen, right? To some extent. Otherwise, you can just keep carrying things out forever, right? I mean, as we've seen on everything from people not paying for their dues for a year to everything else. If you don't have enough penalties, then people just take advantage. And as you said, we've been pretty lenient, and we can still continue to be lenient.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things, but when it comes down to it, what are we gonna, what's the appropriate amount of fine for doing something? And we just don't want to be willy-nilly about it.
I mean, I think at least I agree with Robbie. I'm on board with a fine. I think it's just a question of hammering out the monetary value of that fine, because I do think we need a stick to go along with a carrot on this. But at the same time, I don't want to be overly egregious on the money.
Yeah, so this is an option. If y'all want to, I mean, if we want to table this and look at it another time and have some time to
Well, I mean,
think on it.
I think the key is, I don't know how we let Smokey, I know Smokey has a question too, but I think, that we want to, I think one way to think about this best is to say, to the board, what happens if someone takes the most ugliest thing possible and decides that they want to put it in the community, right? What would that do to the values? What would that do to resell? What would that do to whatever? And would the fine be warranted enough? And I guess you can change the fine in the middle if we deemed it was so terrible and the fine wasn't penalty enough. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, I
really
think
what you're really
what we
kind
have
of
to
trying
understand
to
is
solve
outside
for.
of the work started without prior approval, all of these come with letters and notifications and final warnings. And even the work without an ARC comes with a meeting in front of the board if they want it. So it's not like these are, you did it once and we're going to fine you for it. It's after they've received adequate notification, because we have to give them that notification.
Yeah. And that's where I think that maybe that they're fine. I mean, maybe even too low, but I'm assuming we can change them at some period
Sure.
if someone blatantly does it. I don't know, maybe you could even put in a clause that says if it's like penalties after 30 days of or 60 days of non-compliance
I
are
mean,
subject to like board increases or something like that, right? If it needs to be documented.
yeah. I mean, I think they're pretty significant fines, since especially with the architecture one, those are daily fines and those will accumulate pretty quickly. And you also have to be careful about, they have to be reasonable. That's something we have to be um, cognizant of. But
Yeah,
some
but
of you have
what's
something to
reasonable,
say?
right? If you take what is it, $10 million, $40 million community and you decrease the value by 10%, you're talking like 4 million bucks.
Oh, you're getting a little, I mean, what, Robbie?
I'm just trying to say I'm just giving the bookend that says you did something completely ugly and terrible that actually made it that no one wanted to move to the Vine and no one then would buy and you had to drop your resale value. That was what I was bookending it as.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to be reasonable in implementation, but you also have to be consistent. So it's finding that balance, because here's the thing: who decides reasonable? A court eventually. That's who decides reasonableness. But we're not wanting to get down that road. So I mean, it just is. It's really trying to encourage and push people that, just need a little extra push to get them to be in compliance about some things, or some ones that just continue to do it, and we've got to get their attention somehow. Smokey, you had something to say?
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up real quick. So we know the towing company's new, but I believe it was Eric who mentioned that he saw or he got a notification. I just wanted to take some notes real quick. Does everybody who wants a notification over those things? And so far, Eric, from what you've seen since you saw them tow them, so you got some eyes out there. Are they doing the job we want them to do?
Yeah, they're good. And I think the reason I got the email is because I'm the point of contact on
Hmm.
our sheet that we filled out that has my email address on it. I think it's the reason I got the notification. It came to my Vine email address, and I can send it to everybody. Basically, it just gives a recap of who the car was, what time it was, and the violation, and where it got towed to.
It's good information. I think I'll reach out to them and add us to that too, just for record.
Not a problem.
Anybody else interested in that? Just
I
asking.
mean, if we want to do more than Eric, then I think you should just give him the Vine board email, Smokey. It goes to everybody.
Okay, so
That-
update them with the Vine board email.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm happy to receive those.
All right. That was kind of what I was interjecting with, is they were new, want to know if they were doing their job. That's all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just recommend that we think about this. We have some time. We can look at it again at the next meeting. And, maybe you'll have some other ideas about what we want to go forward with and what we don't. I mean,
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what's next. Okay, the sewer
Smokey, I think you're
cleanout.
talking into mute if you're talking to us.
What now?
He's talking to someone else. Okay, I was just saying, Smokey looked like he was talking.
And so just on the cleanouts for those that aren't aware, so we've got several units who are missing they appear to be missing the covers of their cleanouts for their sewer cleanouts, and they're in the alleyway, which extends beyond their unit. And in our documents or in our maintenance responsibility chart, we talk about once the utility extends beyond the unit, then it becomes the association's responsibility. So we started with submitting it as a work order, hoping that they could just easily come in and just replace them and clean them out. And then we got a bid on that and we approved it. And they came out and they were able to do one, and then they started working on some others. And what they found is the covers actually aren't missing. They've been pushed down the pipe in some cases. So they've got the cover that's maybe somewhere between as far as 12 inches down at the bottom of the pipe. And so it's not as easy as just cleaning it out and replacing it. So we've gone back and asked them to test out how are they going to go about replacing it and get an idea before we can get a number on that. Because what we don't want to happen is, an owner needs to access that, and then we're scrambling at the last minute to pay, emergency money to get them access to that. And so that's an ongoing thing that we're working on, but I just wanted to update on everybody on that so that they know kind of where we are on that. But hopefully that's going to be, it's in the move, but it's taken a while to get that taken care of. Anybody have any questions about that?
Smokey does.
It's really not a question, guys. Just a little bit more info on there. We have already requested them to come out and do one drain. In their opinion, from their previous work, which one was kind of the worst, so we can get the worst case scenario. That's kind of how we're going about it. I'll keep you guys updated on the date that they're wanting to come do that.
Hey, Mark, do you remember, is it behind 22 that we feel like's the most egregious one? I can't remember the one.
I don't know that there is a most egregious one, Eric. I mean, I without digging out and seeing how far they go, I mean, they found some that are pretty far down.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And they did get it clean though. They were able to clean behind them, but from what I was told, Mark, they were able to clean behind them, but they don't know if they're going to cause problems in the future.
And I just want to make sure everyone on the call understands what we're referring to.
My only question is this all the units that are along the alley, like the alleyway in the back? Is that what all those units have? The clean outs on the other side of the fence and then subject to having them pushed down, or is it some of them?
So Peter, it's like behind your garage.
Oh, okay.
You'll see those little twists and buried in the concrete. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, got it. I just because I know like I'm on the pool next to the pool, and I can see mine's in the front in the garden right in the front. I can see where ours are. But okay, I got you. It's
yeah,
it's in the
some
alleyway.
have them on both sides. Not all units have those, Peter.
Okay.
But all of them have some in the rear behind their garages. And as people drive over them and
Yep.
That's what's happened to make them push down, and they weren't really watched. We've got some that are maybe 4 inches down right now, which we're not even trying to address. But I understand what you're saying, Smokey, about they don't know if they're going to cause. It could be pipes could be cracking or whatever. But what I would say is they didn't clean more than 1 or 2 of them before they stopped. I was out there, so. They got to one and said, that's the bottom of it. And as far as I know, they didn't do much more than that. But I didn't stay the whole time they were there. But it looks like Unit 4 has in the past broken concrete around theirs and pulled theirs out and then put a road bump on top of them so that they won't do that in the future. So we definitely need to find a permanent solution and not a temporary solution. So we'll work through it, but it's a little more involved project than what we were hoping it would be. So.
And I'm glad you let me know that because when I spoke with my contact over at JLL, they did say that this was something we need to address, but it didn't need to be right now. They said the job was done. So thank you for letting me know that, Mark.
I don't know what job they did. They did one. They did do one, but that's it.
Okay. No, thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah, but they didn't clean them all out and wait. I mean, of course, they haven't billed us either. So, I mean, that's why I haven't been, if they'd have billed us for the work and had then no, I would have been, I wouldn't have let that walk. Okay, so we're into our reports. So first of all, we're going to talk about the financial report, which he showed. He had earlier had the documents earlier in the presentation or in the packet. But so right now we're in the midst of the end of the month, and so it takes about 20 days for them to finalize our October financials. But I mean, I would say kind of, adding in a few things from my end based on what we have right now. We're still having a pretty healthy net income, but remember, all that net income that we have went to pay back previous borrowings from reserves. So we'll have a pretty good significant net income thing at the end, but most of that was cash that we took that cash and paid back what we owed to the reserves. We had budgeted paying about 14,000 back, and we're going to exceed that quite more. I think we're up to close to 60. So, so kind of where we are favored when you look at the expense account. So overall, we're up on our revenues are up for a couple of reasons. One is the main reason is the water bill billbacks are a little higher than we expected. We also, part of the reason for that is that we recaptured some past due amounts from previous years on this year's, as they were let to be sit at the dependent bill wasn't doing a lot to collect those. So we've had our process to move those over to collect those at Worth Ross, and that's gone a lot better. So overall, our expenses are lower than our budget, probably about $20,000 at this point, which is attributed mostly to our insurance savings and a few other things that we've not expended that are going to come up, like like right now we're under budget on our tree maintenance, but that's going to be resolved as soon as we get that trimming done in the next probably 6 weeks. The other thing we're a little over budget on is landscaping, as we've tried to complete all the sections of doing some enhancements through Hall, and we also added that drainage in the back alley, which was put on landscaping, which probably could have gone somewhere else as well. So, but overall, we still are favorable in terms of our expenses versus what we budgeted this year. So we've paid for the reserves. We've paid our first 2 payments to the Walkway Group. The first one was about 22, and then the second one was 15. The 22 is represented in our balance sheet. The 15 hasn't made it over there yet. But when you look at adding those in terms of our we still have a positive revenue increase for new money, even putting those out. I mean, all that means little until we're trying to really focus on that reserve study and meet the numbers at the end of those. But that doesn't really start till January, so we'll have to see how close we get to the estimate that we expected to have at the end of the year. Questions?
Smokey has a question.
Sorry, when my hand raises, I just have something to add. With that being said, the company is saying that they're ahead of schedule. I got an email on it this afternoon, wanting me to submit the third payment, and then that will leave them the last 15%. They were asking if I can expedite it because they are usually on ACH, and that's not quite set up for them yet. They're asking me to input a manual check request tomorrow to have a pickup check ready by Friday. If the board agrees with that for that next 15%, it'll still leave the final 15%, and I can get that done, but I will need an email from someone to get that processed.
Mark,
What
you
are they,
want to lead
how
on?
much, what's the 15%? Is that another 15,000?
No, the 15%, it was in 4 increments. They had their startup and they had 2 draws in the middle and one final one. I'd have to go to the contract to pull it up real quick,
Yeah,
but
if you
they
could,
still have one more owed to them upon completion in our punch list, as we discussed through email there a bit and
yeah,
on our
Smokey, if you
call
could
the
let
other
us
day.
know what the amount is, be great.
Mhm. All right, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, if you'll let us know, I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't remember seeing a payment on their contract, but I could have missed it. So, I mean, I'm fine doing a draw. They've got to pay their people and they've got to need the expenses. And they are somewhat ahead of schedule. I didn't see what they got done today, and I'll talk about that in the report, but they probably only have about another week left. So yeah, we need to get them paid. We need to get them paid.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
that's
seem
kind of
good.
what they
Yeah.
brought up with me.
Yeah. They may have a week and a day left, a week and 2 days left. That's all they're going to spend out here.
So Mark, are we keeping the extra 20 grand in operating just so that we start
Well,
building up
currently,
the
as it
operating so we don't have to pull it
I don't know
away?
what you mean. You mean the expenses we haven't spent?
The excess revenue, the above
Yeah, so the
forecast
excess
revenue.
Yeah, so the excess revenue is kind of a curious thing because it's a paper revenue. And so we're balancing that with our cash needs. So what we've done with that paper revenue, Robbie, is paid back our most of that has gone towards paying back what we owe to the to the reserves. So it's not in operating.
Got it. Got it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know if that's what we were doing or if you were keeping it in operating so we'd try to have a full operating amount to pay the insurance next year and then slowly
No.
pay the
No,
reserve
we're not in that
back.
position. I wish we could be in that position, but we're not. But we will have plenty in the reserves to pay our insurance. We should have plenty in the reserves to pay our insurance and not have to delay some landscaping projects till after that's paid. So,
And Robbie, that repayment is part of what's called our interfund. And it's anytime we take money out of reserves to pay for operating expenses, and insurance is reflected as an operating expense. But that money comes out of operating, goes right back into reserves, and the interfund is just a check and balance on that.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. We definitely, if we can move anything out of I mean, if we can it'd be nice to have an operating overage that we could pay to the insurance and basically have a real reserve account that we're not having to borrow from every year, but we're still not there yet. Hopefully we're going to get there though.
Got it.
All right. So next thing is the visual inspection. Is that right? No, the website. Sorry. So I just wanted to, I don't know if y'all have had a chance to look at the website. Can y'all see that?
Can't see the website, can see the agenda.
You can see the agenda.
Now we can't see anything. Now we're just seeing no one's sharing anything.
Hold on.
I stopped sharing right there, Mark. So you
Is
should be able to share.
while you're pulling that up, is the discussion on the foreclosure thing, is that the appropriate time for that later on?
Oh, Peter, we'll have that in executive session, sir.
As Robbie, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, Robbie.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can you see it now?
Yep.
So I
Okay.
can see it now.
All right, so just a couple of things. I don't know if y'all had a chance to look and see what we've got up on our website at this point to try to provide more transparency and more direct support for our homeowners. And I'll run through it real quick, but you know, we have our homepage, and that's where we launched our volunteer initiative that we just led just then. But we've got a calendar that we try to keep updated here. We've got the Together in Maintenance program, which we talked about earlier. There is a vendor list on there, and then there's a way for owners to recommend folks to be on the vendor list, and that's a live situation. So once they recommend it, it pops up live onto that for them. There's an About Us page, which just has a little bit of information about the Vine, Worth Ross, how to contact them, and then some digital tools that we have, which is the Worth Ross portal. We have a welcome packet. If they need to request maintenance, that opens up that in Vanica. Paying assessment does the same thing. Services and amenities kind of talks about parking and things like that. And it has a link to the governing documents. A lot of these link to the Vanica site. It's just a more user-friendly way of getting there. The responsibility matrix, our newsletters. We do have a YouTube channel, and then a link to our annual meeting video. Short bios of the board of directors. Still waiting. Peter's going to be getting his to us soon, so we'll have that. Has a link to board meetings. Has links to our email addresses. The Getting Involved page basically just talks about the different committees that we have in place to try to have people that they can get involved. Under maintenance, it shows their what they're responsible for. Our paint scheme is up here. How to get to the portal is there as well for ARC request and then homeowner request. There's also a link to the vendor resource list as well. Then we have our financial pages, which it's a financial transparency piece that shows kind of our operating expenses to date, kind of where they are for each area and versus actual versus budget. You can see how we're doing on those, and this is net income as you look there. It's still not, these values aren't final until they give us our final situation. This shows how our monthly assessment fees are broken down, a link to our budget. We got under the reserve. It just shows kind of how our a snapshot of our reserves and kind of what we owe back to them. That's just kind of as of August 25th, what we owe for debt back to the, as we talked earlier about the interfund. And then this is an ongoing spreadsheet showing us how we're expending those reserves as well. This is talking about the flagstone that we'll be paying for that. It gives some information about reserves as well. And then we have a balance sheet link as well so that people can see our balance sheet as well on here. So then we've got the different projects that we've got going on right now. The Flagstone Walkway project. I need to update the timeline a little bit here, showing before and after pictures, what to expect, all that information there. We've got what we've been doing with landscape enhancements, some before and after pictures there as well, just so that they can see where their dollars are being spent and how they're being spent and just the impact that they're having. There's a couple that are pretty stark in here. And I've tried to match them up with kind of the same locations, and then just the differences that we've seen with the money we've expended in terms of that. Information about our oak tree, that we're trying to keep that alive and keep that going. And then the last is the implementation of our reserve study. That's got our links to the reserve study, our implementation roadmap that we adopted, and then the timeline for our ancillary evaluations. And then this is just an ongoing update of the implementation roadmap. And then finally, we have a page just with our newsletters that has our archive so people can access all of that. So I just went through that really quick, just everybody can see what's available on there. But also yeah.
And you did this, right? This is all you?
Yeah.
Great job, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Everything
that
was
question.
amazing, except as many times as you had Eric in the very front page. I mean, that part was the only part that we didn't like
You mean
as
that
much.
one right there?
Yeah.
Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
But just
I love it.
if you have any ideas about the other things that we need to place on the website or put on the website that would be helpful for owners, just let me know. And or
The
if y'all
only
want to.
thing I would say, Mark, I just saw him really fast, and it's just nitpicky a little bit, is I would go down and where you put ARC on that one page, I just spell out whatever ARC is so that they actually know in case they don't have an idea. I think it's on like it said go to the portal if you need to fill out like an ARC and something else. Then if you just spell out ARC, that was probably like the only thing that I saw when you're glancing through that.
Right here.
Well, yeah, there, but there was another spot where it was like bolded like 4 or 5 things. But yeah, I think somewhere you need to call out what that is,
I'll look at
just in
it.
case someone
Yeah.
doesn't know what it is. Yeah.
Sure.
But otherwise, this is amazing. This is well done.
Well, hopefully people will find it. I mean, there's some analytics we can look at, and as we sent things out, you can kind of see people that are going there and accessing it. When we sent out information on the walkways, there was quite a few people that went and looked at it. So, I mean, hopefully it's going to get better use in terms of this. And I mean, the advantage to this is if you click on here and you're logged into your portal, then it'll automatically go to the page. If not, it'll go to a site to have you log on. But hopefully we'll only get better. So go from there. But yeah, I'll go through and look and make sure we've got any lingo that needs to be explained in here. And if anybody else sees that, send a thing to me as well. Smokey has a comment.
Right, hang real quick, Smokey. Whoever the 3 number is, can you go on mute for me?
The 1-3 number?
The very bottom down there.
I think it's in a separate lineup. Is it?
It's a-
There's Chris.
If someone's
I'll just-
not linked or whatever, I don't know. But you
Yeah,
should be able
so-
to just mute
Oh,
them.
the
I can mute them
3-1.
for you.
Yeah, I'll mute him. Hold on.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just did.
Thanks.
So
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Smokey.
whoever can't talk now, you know who you are.
No,
But it
I was
dropped.
going to say, Mark, I don't know how tough it is for you to put a section in, but we can get you some of the SOP materials for like cold weather and disaster and things like that to add in there.
Yeah, I mean, we generally put those in the newsletter, but yeah, anything that you think needs to go in here, we can look at adding it for sure.
We'll go through it. I'll take some time. We'll talk.
Yep. All right. Next are just a series of reports, I believe. Let me see.
Committees.
Yeah. So let me see if I can share the right screen. Hold on. Can y'all see the PowerPoint or the slideshow?
Yes.
All right. So around the 1st of November, Eric and we did some visual inspections based upon the document that we looked at last board meeting for our common areas. And this is just kind of a summary of what we did. We weren't able to do all buildings. We got the first 4, or A, B, C, and D done. And kind of here's what we found. There were 4. So the purpose behind all this was to pilot that checklist to see how well it works. So as we fully implement that, and remember that checklist was part of our reserve study implementation plan to have a visual inspection checklist so that we can try to catch things early and be more proactive about issues that might come up. some of them are more everyday maintenance issues. Sometimes they're more long-term issues. So kind of the results of these 4 buildings is we found kind of 4 significant issues, several minor issues, and a lot of stuff that was in good condition. So kind of when you look at significant, they're not like tomorrow. I mean, that's probably a misnomer a little bit, but there are things that we need to address probably this year or early next year, not let them linger much. Some of these others we might can push down the road to as we get other information from our ancillary investigations. So here, the significant issues that we identified was in Building A, that in the garage lighting on Building A is not working at all right now. And Smokey's got a vendor out there trying to look at and isolate the reason for that. We believe it happened when they installed the new light. There was a new light installed between Building A and Building B. They had to replace that light fixture. And we believe that they might not have wired that correctly to work. So that's where we're starting with that. Then also there's this gas pipe, and this was the one that was hit last year or 2 years ago during the construction, when we were having the window construction done. But you can see how it's not sealed, and it's starting to rust, and we need to try to address that. It should be painted at the very least, and we need to
Was that
make
the one
sure it's
that
not bouncing in and out.
is that the one that they actually whoever actually repaired that? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there any warranty work they could do? Because it shouldn't rust that fast, is it?
Well, they didn't paint it. They didn't paint it because it wasn't painted before they got there, because it's been broken multiple times and it was replaced without painting it. So they restored it to the way it was.
Gotcha.
There's a landscape drain at the corner on building between on the north side of Unit 8 that's clogged. It's on the side right there. Not sure but it's definitely clogged up there and not functioning properly. And then there's another rusted pipe that's on another building that's on Building B as well that we could address at the same time. I mean, probably with these rusted gas, we need to do them, we need to kind of find out how many of them we have and then get them all done at the same time for efficiency purposes. And the same thing with drains, once we identify all the drains. So, likely is we need to try to finish these inspections and then get a good list going up of the things that we need to address immediately. So this is kind of the summary of a report for Building A, where I talked about the first 2. Foundation wise, there are some cracks and gaps at the bottom of some of the units. There's a vertical crack, especially in one of them. The rest of them are just kind of flaking at the bottom. So we're having, next year we're slated to have, as part of our ancillary evaluation, a structural analysis. So my guess is we should wait and have them kind of go look at that and see what needs to be addressed. But at the very least, doing this inspections allow us to document and monitor these as we go along to make sure they're not getting worse. Masonry, just some cracked bricks and 4 and 6, and that's some of the stuff we saw during the window repair, where we did some slight repairs on that. So again, once we get a number that's efficient to get that work done, we can get a list and move forward with that across the development. And then it's the same thing with vertical control joints. We looked at all those when RE was here at the end of the project and tried to identify the ones that needed to be addressed right then, but others have come up, and there's going to be a need of few to be addressed every few years. And there's money in we've actually budgeted money out of reserves next year to address those. So it's just a matter of getting a list and getting those scheduled as a project. Does everybody know what a vertical control joint is or what they are?
I do now.
So basically it's the cracks, the lines, the gaps between the brick as you go up on the side of the building, and there's putty or well, not putty, but what do you call that? Caulking, special caulking that goes in between those. And so that should be functioning correctly. And we've got a couple of places that it's starting to crack or missing that we need to address. And then, go ahead.
Hang on one second. Chris has a question.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is Chris Brown. I'm in Unit 7. I was just curious, would you guys reach out to applicable homeowners if when the time comes to fix these things, or is, some of them seem
course.
significant, some are minor. I'm just kind of curious to kind of be ahead of that. So any info would be appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do what we've done on the website, Chris, and try to, when we have these things done, to try to highlight where we're going to address those. But we usually try to communicate that. Whether, I don't know if we'll do it up front, but we'll definitely try to communicate that. I mean, it just depends, because sometimes we get the bid and we need to move forward before we have a meeting or an opportunity to put it in a newsletter or something like that. And it really doesn't impact the interior of the units, but definitely we'll make you aware that it's happened.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I appreciate it. I just wanted to check too to make sure there wasn't anything I needed to do or anything like that. I know it's exterior, but just always wanted to. To confirm.
The things that things that we need owners involved will reach out. Like we're fixing to do this, and that's another conversation and presentation about the parapet cap projects that we are going to need some help from the owners to gain access and figure out what's going on. I don't know if your unit was one that reported it or not. There's the house bibs is just the turns on the faucets out front, and just there's a couple of those missing in building A, and then we didn't notice anything on the concrete fencing or electrical. The walkways were all fine because they're all being redone. Building B, you can go back to the two that we already talked about. Again, there's some chips and unsealed holes in some of those units, some cracks and most of the cracks appear to be around the garage, the corners of the garages, where either the lintels were replaced. And what Sean told us last year on that is basically that stress that was probably there before the lintels replaced, and it just has over time started to crack. But it's the lintels are still supporting it in good shape. There's a retaining wall that's got some loose mortar around building B. Building C, basically we found less issues in building C and building D than we did in A and B, which makes sense. Those are older. There were some minor issues around unit 20, which I think what unit 20 appears to be, that's the one that slopes pretty high and kind of where that erodes onto the sidewalk there. And it could be that we need to go back and do some soil issues more than fix the foundation, but we'll have to get, I think the foundation check will help us with that. And then there's some other retaining wall issues around unit 22 where there's cracks or mortar as well. And then building D, we just saw some vertical control joints that needed to be addressed. Anyway, so that's kind of that took us about an hour to go through all those, and I probably spent another 2 or 3 hours putting it all together. And so, but really the goal is to go ahead and do that, get it documented, and then, either put it into monitoring stage or actually have them addressed as they need to be based on where we can go. So, kind of next steps on this is just to, decide what we're going to address with these issues and the timing of that. I would recommend the foundation, the major issues that we wait until we do the structural analysis, but these others like the gas pipes and the garage lights we're working on right now, and that drain, and then some of the vertical control joint work we've already going to get scheduled for next year, and then complete the inspections of the common areas and the rest of the buildings. Anything you want to say on that, Eric?
Well, the reason why we didn't do everything is it started raining. So that's the reason why we didn't get through it all. And we didn't want to be out there in the cold and rain on that. No, I think there's quite a few things that we could improve upon out there. There's small things. Mark hit a lot of them, but no. Curious to see what we're going to find when we finish, honestly. So thanks, Mark.
Yeah, and it's not everything. We've got it. I've got it documented with pictures by unit. So this is just a summary of everything. So we'll have that moving forward. Onto just the walkway, real quick on that. We started that. We set that to be done this year. We got our RFP out, got our bids. selected our vendor, and then they started the work on October 20th with the goal of completing by the end of like November 21st, but they're ahead of schedule on that.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Yeah. So some of the scope was, some of them was a full, like they lifted, like they dug it all out, lifted it up, re-leveled it, and then they put mortar in it. Some of them, they just took the mortar out and replaced the mortar if it was already in good shape. Some of them, they replaced some rock that might have been done, but overall, it seems to be going pretty well. They seem to be doing a good job. We'll do a walkthrough on it. With regard to when they started to lift up, most of that was associated with roots, and the roots pushing that up. So they either had to grind those roots down or remove those roots to flatten that. So we'll just need to watch those trees that are around those area. The original proposal was for $57,000 to do, basically that was touching every walkway but 6. We did add another one for about $1,300. And then they went ahead and did one by mistake. So there's just like 3 or 4 that they haven't touched in terms of that. So that's going to be a good piece. We do have a 1-year warranty on that for defects in the installation. Again, this is just a summary of the repair scope. We had 32 where we totally removed and put it down, and we had 21 that they just removed and replaced the mortar. 5 had some stone repair done, and then six locations were deemed not to need work, but one of them had started deteriorating that we added, and then one we got because they messed up. So it's just a coincidence it was Eric's. I don't know why. You can look at the before and after. You can see this is one of our bigger problems. But the left picture was like what it looked like before they started. This is after they ground down all of it and re-leveled it, and then you can see the final. Well, hold on. You can see the final or mostly final project where it's flat out, looking much better. This was another one that was pretty egregious. You can see how the stone was lifting up really badly here. You see how they flattened it when they were working on it, and then you can see the kind of the mostly done project at the end where it's flat. But this is one tree right here. They took out probably about a 2-foot root, pretty good size root. So we'll just have to work and see how that goes.
Yeah.
So they'll be finishing up with they got to about unit. So they did everything to about 52 last week. There's some things they need to finish up on that, except for they didn't do 44 and 53. So this week they're going to be finishing up basically 44, 53, and then 55 through 65, and the area over by the bench. Questions?
Good project.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in full transparency, I was surprised as anybody when I opened my front door and all my stuff was gone. So
Sure. No, you were. They messed up, so we got it taken care of.
Hey, Mark, as you were saying, there's only 4 units that weren't done.
When it's all said and done, there'll be only 4 units that weren't done yet.
I mean, I'm just wondering because they are finishing up.
No, I mean they don't need. I'm going to talk to them about one of those, but the other 3 are pretty good. Or the other 3 were in good shape. We just did one of them a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
7 was one of them, and it's really in good shape. But we'll just, in a few years of it, we've got it, we know that it wasn't done, so it's not going to last as long as these, and we'll just have to be prepared to kind of do the maintenance on that in a few years if we need to. So that's what the good thing about the visual inspection is if we keep those up, then we'll be able to catch that early and be monitoring that as it goes along and not wait till it gets so bad. All right. Last is the construction defects, kind of where we are with that. This is just a background. I think y'all are aware, but this is phase 3. Phase 1 was the lintels, the garage lintels, and 2 were the windows and the Juliet balcony doors. Most everything that was identified in the outside of the structural pieces with the lintels is really based upon water intrusion And so we're really looking at the impact of water intrusion at the parapet caps, because that was identified in the study, in the lawsuit, as not, in the places they looked, as not being sufficient. And they did find some issues that we'll see pictures of as you go on down there. But so we started with Charles Taylor coming up to try to help us determine what needs to be addressed short-term, long-term, if any at all. So the first thing we did, or they did, was fly a drone over with infrared technology on it to see if you could see water inside the, in the building, basically through the metal into the building. They did not find any, and so there's kind of so the next step was to see, are we seeing any leaks? Because they, to go further, we want to know that. And so we did do the survey. We had about 18 units with leaks, 15 of which were in the last 6 months. Those may or may not be related to parapet caps, but the next step is the engineer to do an on-site inspection, and that's going to happen on December 5th. So we're going to have to get that information out to everybody. Again, this is just stuff we talked about, but if you the finances, we got $1 million from the settlement. We didn't yield that. We yielded about $508,000 for after we paid the lawyers and the engineers on the lawsuit. So they started with phase one, where we spent $237,000 to fix the lintels on 30 units and reinforce 8 others. Then we did the major project 2024, almost 2 years ago we started, where we replaced 63 Juliet balcony doors and prioritized windows that were showing great, a significant amount of water intrusion. We funded that through both individual assessments and additional settlement money when we found structural damage caused by the water intrusion into elements that were the association's responsibility. There were a couple other things we funded, but so that took a pretty significant amount of the money. So that left us with about 59,000 left. So then we're moving on to this next phase, which is the reason this was selected, is we had a couple of owners that found this issue in their on their own because they were having a leak in their unit, and so we reimbursed them for the cost to fix the parapet caps, but we want to get in front of it to see if there's others that we need to proactively look at and get those taken care of up front. Basically, the defect is there's, it's a weatherproofing issue there. Go from that. Just timeline. When we started with RE, they recommended we bring Charles Taylor in. Did the initial IR survey on October 6th. The owner survey was finalized on October 31st. I think I've already talked about a lot of these. Out of 53 responses, we had all but 10 units respond, I think. 18 reported leaks, 15 of those occurring within the last 6 months. So that's kind of where we are, is trying to figure out where those are. Same thing, 1 and 3. This is an example of just some. I've got I'll show the full, I've got a document that shows the full reporting, but these are some of the units that reported and kind of where it was coming from. So kind of the next step, we have about $48,000 left. We spent, we had about 59 before we started. We've spent some on both the drone on Charles Taylor, and then the reimbursement to the owners who had fixed theirs previously, and that's left us a balance currently about $48,000. And that may all get eaten up in the investigation. Hopefully not all of it. Kind of the next steps is the on-site step testing on December 5th. And then we've also requested a pre-construction agreement with RE to help oversee the process as we move forward. Kind of the next steps, our process is the on-site testing. Then we'll look at a scope and then determine, how we're going to get those and move those forward. Questions?
I guess you'd have to wait till we get the final scope of the results back to
Yep.
determine how we go forward, right?
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, it's hard because you don't know. I mean, we don't want to fix things that don't need, or we want to make sure we're really prioritizing our dollars. And
Yep.
if we have to go to owners to ask for additional funds to fund this, we want to make sure we've got a good plan. I mean, the thing about this, unlike some of the other major projects, this isn't funded in the reserves right now because we don't have a cost of what it would cost.
Right.
And so it's a possibility it could be incorporated into reserves, or it's a possibility that we would have to go out and, depending on the cost, get additional funds from the owners.
Well, we'll look forward to the outcome after the early part of December.
Yep. All right. And then the last thing is the holiday decoration committee met on, I don't know, November 2nd. They have decided to move forward with the same decorations as we used last year and kind of in the same areas. We talked about some enhancements. We may still do some of those, but overall, they felt pretty good about what we did last year. So they've set the Sunday after Thanksgiving to be decoration day for those community elements. So anybody's invited to come and help. And then we'll launch the decorating contest with a celebration and award ceremony closer towards that last week of Christmas.
Cool.
And so that we've scheduled initially the schedule for the Christmas celebration award ceremony, Christmas get together for Monday, the 22nd. I think Eric's going to be out of town then. Out of complete transparency, I'm out of town most of the day then, but I don't, I mean, but I
The
should be back
22nd is a
in-
Tuesday, Mark. Isn't it? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong year. I apologize. It's a Monday. You're right.
Right. I mean, I mean, we can move it whatever day we need to move it. We just need to get it out there and publicized, whatever. But if we want to do it that Tuesday, that's fine. You have to, anytime closer you get to Christmas, you got traveling. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, why wouldn't we just move it to that Saturday or Sunday, Mark?
Well, I won't be there. That's okay. You can.
Oh,
I won't.
that's
I'm
not
out of
good.
town that whole weekend.
Yeah, and not that it
And so is
matters,
Eric.
but
So,
I'm out of town
but
from
we don't need to be
12/7.
there. I'm just saying that. I mean, we don't have to be
No,
there.
I
I'm
think
just
you
saying
guys need to be there. So
well, Eric's not going to be there unless we do it before the 17th, and that's too
yeah,
soon.
Eric's gone for like a whole month. He lives
Yeah.
the life.
But I'm going. I'm out of town
What?
I'm out of town. I'm out of town the 18th through the 22nd. And I don't even know when I'm flying back on the 22nd. So, I mean,
Yeah, I won't be
Tuesday
back.
works better for me, but I don't know how everybody else feels about it.
Yeah, I won't be back until January, Robbie. So you guys do what you got to do.
I mean, the
That's what I
23rd,
said.
that puts it
Lucky-
being the 23rd, which is the night before Christmas Eve, but that could work.
I mean, that's gonna be tough for families. What about like this 15, 16, 17, something like that?
I don't
Like
think you're
that
going to be
Thursday.
here.
What?
Oh, the 15th, 16th, or 17th?
Yeah, whatever the Thursday
Well, I just
is.
wanted
So
to
if-
give people.
Is there any
certainly
way
we
for you
can do it
guys combine
anytime
it
that
with
week.
New Year's?
Yeah.
Like you
Huh?
do one big party for like New Year's and Christmas all at the same time, like holiday judging the whole 9 yards, just one night, one big shebang.
I mean, we can, and do you guys want to table this for due to time and circle back?
Yeah. Just think about it.
Okay.
I think the only thing is we have the little award thing, and that we probably want to let them to have that little like award
Yeah.
displayed in front of their house when their stuff is still up versus
Yeah.
after it's down.
Well, I mean, if we need to move it up to that Monday before, that Tuesday or Wednesday before, Robbie, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, just means everybody has less time to get their decorations up and get them judged.
Yeah, well, if you're putting them up the week of Christmas, then I guess, and it's not helping our community. And it's going to help it, but it'll just be a lesser time. Again, I don't really care one way or another. You guys make the call, but I think if we do it so that most people can be there as possible, I think it's probably better, and less time closer to Christmas, I think is probably more people are apt to make it.
I think the weekend during the week is going to be better than a weekend, though. I really do. There's too many.
Yeah, I was
parties
thinking maybe
people have
that Wednesday or Thursday or that Thursday before. So if the 20th
Well, I'm gone on the
is a
18th. I
Tuesday.
mean, you're talking about 15th or 16th or 17th. 'Cause I'm gone on the 18th. So Eric leaves on the 17th.
Let's
So
do
the
the
6th
15th. We're gonna do it Monday before. Let's just do the 15th.
Okay.
You sure, Chrissy, you're not like traveling to Minnesota for Monday Night Football?
They're playing the Cowboys on Sunday night.
You do it by heart. I love it.
So for now, that's tentative, and then let's
We'll look at the 15th.
yeah, let's table
Okay.
this. Move on.
All right. That's it.
Make a motion to
humbug,
adjourn
man.
the regular session here.
So moved.
Yep.
All in favor?
I'm in favor. Yep.
Aye.
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 Okay.